take us to, current times. Is there a recent story you can think of where a leader or a company followed this and really excelled because of it?
Well, that's the one I've been talking about, and I probably brought it too early into our discussion. But the one I'm thinking about that employs vets, I was very moved. I was standing there when this happened, and the idea that you would take basically the announcement of a cut. Make the decision not to lose anybody, cut salaries, and then turn it into a victory, turn it into a rallying point. Not just an idle sales effort or PR effort, but making people realize, look, I'm asking you to sacrifice for Joe. This is what the CEO actually did. For Joe and for Joan and for Bill. I want you to sacrifice for them. You're sacrificing for each other. We leave no one behind. And the place, I'm talking about thousands of employees, the place went nuts. And then, of course, they acted, they cut salaries, and they brought them back within 6 months and gave everybody a 5% raise. So you can imagine that nobody's leaving that company. They are committed. So in the same way that Churchill used his action with the matter of the French fleet to rally Britain, Britain went crazy and was more unified and more committed to victory than ever. This particular company that I'm asked to keep nameless, I'm sorry, they are stronger today than ever. They've grown. Their people are just as loyal as they can possibly be because of that moment and the way it was articulated.
That's incredible. Very cool. And it reminds me of Ramsey. We didn't have quite the slogan around that piece, but this idea that, hey, we're not going to lay people off, and here's how we're going to approach this if times get tough. Here's how we're going to do it, but our goal is to have no one let go. And it's a really cool way they did that and brought it into their world as a vet.
Well, and I'm not claiming to be Dave's best friend, but I'm a friend a close enough friend that I often see him wrestling with these decisions. But then I know he's going to get with his team. He's going to finalize the grasp on 4 core values. They're going to come up with language. They're going to begin to explore how to do this. They're going to take it to the people, and they're going to effect a victory. We've seen it time and time again. You've seen it because you work here. And that's the art of the thing. The problem for many leaders is they sit in their office, they grapple with what to do, and then they take that kind of soul grappling to the company or the people in the company, and they kind of bring the conflict. They sort of bring to them I'm not really sure what to do here. I'm really grappling. And the people are like, look, lead or get out of the way, whatever. But the good leader says, I'm going to solve this with my team. And then when we step on the stage to announce what's going on, we're going to have our stuff together. We're going to have our map down, so to speak. We're going to have our language tight. We're going to know what we're going to do, and we're going to act in the next 5 minutes. And that's the art of great leadership right there. That rallies people. Because really what you're doing is not just for the moment, it's long term. And like I say, right now, this company that I keep referencing without naming, they've almost doubled since the beginning of COVID. And I think it's on the strength of how they handle that situation of having to cut wages temporarily.
Yeah, who would want to work there?
Talk about snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat. Unbelievable.
Wow. Well, I've been here 8.5 years now, and seeing our leadership, it's no surprise that the EntreLeadership brand has exploded, and people are going, hey, I want to know how Ramsey does leadership because we look up to a leader like Dave and Dave's leadership team for their stance and how they make decisions and the principles behind it. So I think you beautifully unpacked really the heart of how Ramsey does leadership in a really cool way today.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And I got to tell you that I really appreciate the EntreLeadership team. And the reason is you can have entrepreneurs and they can go out and they can start new projects and new ventures. But the fact that you wed the word leader to the beginning of entrepreneurial, it says to them, look, real greatness is not just that you start a chain of burgers or burger stores or what have you. Real greatness is that you articulate a message based on your core values and you wed business to it. And that's what you guys are doing. You're taking core values, you're taking social good, you're taking dynamic leadership, great communication, and you're wedding it to the entrepreneurial process. And it has produced great change and produces change in the lives of those listening right now.
Oh, we appreciate that. So for the leader listening who's going, all right, this year I'm going to have to make some hard decisions. I may be in that right now. I may be facing that soon. What do you think they need to hear? What is that final encouragement you would give to them?
They need to hear that they are in that position of leadership because they have the right moral compass, because they are people who have a clear sense of what needs to happen. Confidence needs to come from your own history. Confidence needs to come from your own moral grid. Confidence needs to come from what you've already been through. Every leader needs to take a moment and say, look, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck here. I've been at this for a long time. It doesn't produce arrogance. But when I had to make a tough decision this past year, and I thought, Stephen, you have been leading for, give a sense of my age, you've been leading for 40 years. You've been through some serious battles. You've literally been shot at. Listen, grab God with one hand and grab the lessons of your history with the other and make this dang decision and own it. And that's what leaders need to hear. Leaders need to not operate out of insecurity. They don't need to be listening to voices in the society that might try to destabilize them. Be confident. You've come to your role for such a time as this. You've come to your role based on your history, based on your experience. You have inside of you what you need to make the right decisions. Own it. Walk out some of the steps we're talking about. Craft a victory. That's really the phrase I would want to leave them with. It's not a matter of, let me do a few things and hope that victory flies in on gossamer wings and lands on me. No, make it a victory. Craft a victory. You can do that.